All right, here up at No Reserve, we have this just incredible, all original 1997 Ford F350. It's the really hard to find crew cab, long bed dually, full 1-ton. It's got the Power Stroke turbo diesel, automatic overdrive transmission. And any of you guys that have these trucks or love this old body style, you know, OBS body style, even the 87 bullnose to the 91s, know how hard these are to find. The crew cab dualies, I mean, these trucks, a lot of them just came as cab chassis or the XL model, and really were just abused and worked hard. In the last 10 years, I've probably sold, you know, between 250 to 300 of the F series, between the 150, 250, and the 300. And this is the only crew cab dually I've ever had, because 9 times out of 10, the dually beds are just hammered. And yeah, you can buy the aftermarket stuff, but I love original trucks. This is 100% original paint. Has a couple modifications that were done new to allow for better towing, and kind of some era correct. You know, the visor, Lund visor, was done when it was new. It's got a 40-gallon transfer flow tank down below, and it's even dated with 1997, so you can see it was done when it was new. Has the transfer flow tank with the mixed toolbox. Here, it's got some extra goodies, some tie downs and stuff, some old parts. It's got a aftermarket air intake. It's got the spray-in bed liner that was pretty much been on there most of its life. It's also got a trailer brake, and then it's got some gauges inside that I'll show you that have been added. Other than that, and the exhaust, it's got aftermarket exhaust. But all this stuff's been on this truck pretty much since new. The intake is a little newer. But the great thing about this truck, it's a last year made, 1997, as OBD2, so you can get a real life programmer on this truck rather than just doing a 6-position chip or an old school chip. But so now we're gonna go walk around this thing, and you kind of see the condition, and it really will stand out to you, and you know how this truck has been cared for. So we'll start off at the front here. You know, XLT, all the chrome package, the nice Power Stroke bumper. Lights are really nice and clear. A little bit of condensation here, which is real common. Some of the chroming has some aging and some little stone chips. The coves in the grill are a little bit faded out, but I love to see it's just original. It's never been swapped out for cheap aftermarkets. Got a little stone chips along the bottom there on the valance. You know, expect. It's got 224,000 miles. Original California truck, was purchased new at Manhattan, California. And then it was sold to the second owner in 2012, and the second owner had it for California for a little bit, then brought it up here in 2015, and it's been here ever since. So you can see the window sweeps are original, but still in nice shape. Mirrors are just incredible. The most common thing for these things, and the first damage to happen, is somebody hits these mirrors. These mirrors have absolutely no give, and they will destroy these doors. So that's one thing that really stood out to me on this truck. You know, you got a little bit of scratches there. No clear coat or paint lifting issues other than what you see right there on the valance. If you really don't notice it, but if it drives you nuts, this is really easy to take off, which is wonderful. And you could get this painted for really cheap, even if you went to like a Mako or something, because there's no body work needed. Factory pull handles. A lot of people consider this truck to be the quintessential cowboy Cadillac, and when you drive it, you see the pull handles and you feel this long, wide wheelbase. You really understand where that name came from. You know, this is nice for stepping on. You need to grab something, you need to fill up the tank, and this is not part of the 40 gallons. So you gotta imagine you have this transfer flow tank, fuel tank, right in down below here, which I believe is 50 gallons, but I will double check. I'll leave the top up over there and look at it. But you have your factory rear tank, the huge 40-gallon transfer tank below, and that one. So you got a lot of miles to do on this thing. I'll take you down below here. The bottom has been really well taken care of, or protected, I mean, because of the running boards. But you are going to get your little stone chips, you know, here and there. But it's really beautiful Oxford white paint. You can see the shine on it. It's nice and smooth. But you are going to have some little nicks and stuff like that. And you can see the paint in between the cab and the body is just beautiful. I mean, for a 1-ton, these trucks are just meant to get used. I have a feeling like maybe they had a pump or something and they rubbed it on there. Roof's in really nice shape. The front here is got a little bit tiny little crack on the fiberglass, but you do have your stone chipping here, just from the front wheels. You know, 20. You know, what are we working on? 24 years. They've got nice bridge zones, factory size. They got 2015 dates on them. Let's see, where is the? There we go. So hopefully you guys can make that out. Just really clean inside here. You know, not spotless, but it's not a steam clean, pressure washed. It's just clean for its age. You got a little bit of wear on the top of the top edge of the fiberglass fender flares. You know, but a lot of times these things, people drop stuff on these and just get them destroyed. And the bed sides otherwise are just incredible. I mean, the thing didn't really get used for a hauling pickup wise of like gravel and stuff like that. And these are the, you know, all the factory lights, I believe. I haven't had very many dualies, so somebody will let me know. Don't think these are factory, because they're truck lights. So those were put on at one point. Nice stainless steel and black mud flaps. And I can just imagine this thing with these stainless steel running boards, the stainless steel caps, the diamond plate. I mean, these things are killer mud flaps. They're not cheap. This thing probably looked like $1 million going down the road. Got a little bit of wear here, some scratches and little dings here, but other than that, the tailgate's super nice. Got your lights down below. The lights on the visor do not work. I don't think they've ever been hooked up, so all the wiring is underneath there. But more than likely, like me, if I was the owner, really wouldn't want to run that wire in to hook it up to anywhere. I just get kind of nervous, but they do look cool when they are hooked up. Aftermarket exhaust. The chrome tip is, you know, got the surface rust, but it's still in good shape. Again, a little bit of aging on the top paint here. A little bit of scratches here. So let's go ahead and take a look. You can see the manufacture date. So this is 43 gallons. So you got 43 up here, 40 down below. And then the rear, I think, is 17. So you got some mileage. I mean, you get some mileage out of this thing. I'll go jump around the other side too, so you can see how clean this is. You know, some little chips there. I mean, just, man, it's nice and shiny down here. Power Stroke logo's never been messed with. No curbing on any of the wheels. Again, here's a closer look at the lifting on the valance. A little bit of surface rust on the gutter there. The cab lights are factory. Again, you can see the mirror. There's no dent in the door. Just, white's always kind of tough to take a picture of and show the shine of it, but I'll kind of walk around this and you can see the reflection. You know, we got all original manuals, ownership manuals. I'll start out in the interior over here since we're already here. It's got the blue interior with a full bench, seat belts for 6, great race car hauler, so you can bring your friends or your crew. It's got the cup holders. Amazingly, everybody, this was an option. This is a sought after cup holder for anybody that's got a bench seat, especially in a regular cab. That thing alone will bring some dough. There's some splits in the vinyl. For whatever reason, back in the day, this was it. The only piece of vinyl, and it's really the only one that gets any splits. All the rest is plastic. 97 is also, you know, besides being OBD2, it's the only year in the last year of this body style, but you won't see any aluminum panel on any of the models. It used to be just the XLs, but all the XLTs have just the smooth gate, and also all the trim is black. You won't find any of the silver. It's got nice mats front and rear, WeatherTechs, I believe. Carpet's in really good shape. It's always been protected. No smoking, no pets. Just if you guys know these Fords, for some reason they just kind of get this little, this is not a burn or anything, but this top material just kind of gets aged a little bit, especially if you got something in your pockets. It's got a Pioneer CD player. AC's been charged up, never been smoked in. It's got the mode in there, but look how smooth and beautiful that is. You can't have a smoking interior and clean those ashtrays to look like that anymore. So there's a little bit of stuff. I think he had like a GoPro up here or something, so you might want to get a little bit of goo off or something there. It's got trans temp and EGT gauges. Visor doesn't have any sag, but I will show you an area in the corner that for some reason they put some push tacks up, so it probably had a little bit of sag. Passenger side door panel is just perfect, no cracks. I can see through the camera here, it's making the door panel look a little darker than it is, just because it's getting a little late in the day. We're kind of fighting day and losing day here, but it's like a nice medium blue. And if you guys are familiar with this year, it's pretty much the blue that you know of. They didn't make multiple different blue colors. Again, you can see even the paint in here is shiny and smooth. I mean, look at that. I mean, really no entry wear. This door hinges are in phenomenal shape. It's got power rear windows. You guys that know these trucks, in the early 90s and in the 80s, the crew cabs had manual rear windows only. But you'll see the same kind of like little breakdown. This is no holes or anything. It's just this top colored material gets these little bumps. But again, the front seat is the same as the rear. So it's just a full bench. Again, ashtray in the back, never been used. Fading on this plastics right here. Again, carpet's in great shape. Still nice and fluffy. But it's cool to see it's got the full mats. Nice and clean behind here. Dome lights working correctly. Wing windows are nice and tight. And there's a bunch of underside photos. There's gonna be a video up on the rack. There's gonna be a driving video. Look how tight that is. I really gotta push it. You can see there's no coins. It's as tight as can be. It almost feels like it's never even been open. You can see the tread. A lot of tread. And it's nice to see it's got, what's really common for these dualies is it will not have matching tires. So anytime you see somebody that's gonna step up and buy 6 Bridgestones, you know that they're taking care of their truck and then you know that they love it. Again, door panels haven't been all off. No cracks in the door panels, no missing screws. Here's the VIN. You can see brand new, the decal, Chico, California, transfer flow when that was put in. The date's a little wore off. You can see all the writing's in good condition, a little wore off on the buttons themselves, but everything works on this truck. It's got the trailer brake controller, the Concha. It's got the exhaust brake. And then you can see, and these will all be in the photos too, you can see, hopefully you can see the trans temp, EGTs. Truck's just kind of starting to get warmed up. We'll do a cold start video too, since this is a diesel. Really nice shape. I mean, just clean throughout the hinges. I mean, look at, 24 years old, 224,000 miles, never had any paint work, and look at how nice that rocker is. And that's because of this. People skip right over it. There's like no rocker wear on any of these. So it's also great to see the dome lights come on every time you open each doors. The rear window, driver's side, I have a crew cab also, and I don't know if that window just gets used the least amount, but it is getting slow, so I'm not going to do it down in the video there. Just check out in the ad. Hopefully I'll update that, but I don't want it to go all the way down and then get stuck.
Okay, here's the App Store.
Whoa, got my watch talking to me. Sorry about that, guys. You see the seats in really nice shape. And there you can see someone put some push pins in there. I mean, all I could say is at least they got blue. But this is just a beautiful truck, extremely hard to find. Tailgate opens up, super smooth. I think I showed you guys inside here, original decals. You can hear it just pops open nice. So they had something mounted in here. No idea what it was. But even 224,000 miles, and look, it's still even got a little bit of shine to the anodizing. You can see it's not all pressure washed, not steam cleaned. This is as honest and real as it can get. Never been removed. And usually you see still, these are usually really faded, just having a totally oxidized look, which really shows this truck's probably been garaged its entire life. Single-handed, open and close. Nothing's getting dried out and hard to close. Same with the hood. The hood pop is not broken. It's right here. And in 1997, or any year, they did not make a crew cab F350 dually 4x4. So you could get a cabin chassis, more of a commercial use, and it was always going to be roll-up windows. So there was conversion companies that did convert these to 4x4, but they did not roll off the Ford assembly plant. You can see it's got the riff-raff air intake. One thing I love about this truck is it still has this. Usually these things are always missing. It's got a Wix fuel filter that we did, but if you access the fuel filter, or if you need to do the glow plug relay on here, people take these off and they never put them back on. And I love seeing that it's still there, because to me, that's like the dressing on the motor, really. Decal's getting a little loose. Factory radiator cap, everything's nice and shiny. There's the exhaust brake. Not too clean, just nice and honest. No paint line. Nothing's been done on the bolts. All the decals here. It's got a Gates belt. Oh, you can't see it here, but you'll see it in the photos. It is super clean. So I'll go ahead and fire it up. A little condensation in here. I don't know if I mentioned that. Grab the keys. One thing I love about the truck, has several sets of keys, but still has the original key fob. But it's already been warmed up and everything, and you see the light goes out really fast. Fires up nice and fast. Nice smooth idle. You can see the temp gauge is starting to come up. I'm gonna crank the heater here because it is getting chilly. Up to put the e-brake on also, safety first. You can see the light comes on now. But it has just that really nice power stroke roll to it. There's no loud cackling, if you're familiar with that, or shaking. Hood flies up nicely. Just runs really nice and smooth. Obviously, alternator's been replaced not too long ago. Looks like the idler tender pulley's not too old. You can see all the decals. Oil cap's got nice writing on it. This is getting a little bit loose, but nice cap. Nothing's ever been replaced. Still got the fiberglass insulator. This just kind of happens with some of these. I don't know why they get this oxidation on that fiberglass stuff, but it's never been pulled off. None of the plastic things are busted. Original California decal. So it's emission compliant for California. So all right, I'm gonna let her warm up a little bit longer. I'm gonna get in there with the heat. It works amazing, as does the AC, and this is gonna be going at no reserve, so I'm gonna go ahead and click the lights on here in a little bit and do a driving video, so hopefully you guys can stick around. Alright, here we are on the run and driving video of our no reserve 97 Ford F350 Power Stroke Dually crew cab. Got all the lights going. You can see how beautiful and crisp and bright these lights are. And you can see all the cab lights work. As mentioned in the other video, the visor lights don't work. They're not hooked up, but I'd probably guess if they'd assumed it was too much lights, and I'd probably agree with them that there probably would be too much lights going on up there. But you can hook them up. Bulbs are in there. I popped the covers off. So I'm gonna go ahead and it's got keyless entry, factory keyless entry. Wanted to show that it works. So I did have it warming up for quite a while, but these Power Strokes, these old diesels, are cold-blooded girls. So the temp gauge is just starting to come up. Go ahead and I'm gonna go ahead and kick on the 4-ways. You can see those babies kick on. I'll pop the hood. You see those are working really good. You see it's running really nice and smooth. She is getting warmed up, but it takes, you can let it idle for a long time and the temperature gauge doesn't come up. It takes a good, 15-20 minutes of driving just to get that thing to start moving, get some RPMs. You got to get that all those gallons of oil, that thick 1540 pumping. But you can see all the fender lights work. It's just a killer looking truck, and it is going to be a little bit dark inside, but I like to shoot my videos a little bit, almost 45 minutes from sunset, so you can see all the lights. You can see the dash lights work, dome lights work. All the lights underneath the tailgate are hooked up. Both of the License plate lights work. I got my plate up here, but it's protective magnet. It doesn't do any damage. I'll go ahead and turn on the cargo light. When you manually turn on the dome light, it also turns on the cargo light. So, we'll see here. Can't remember in the other video if I did the windows or not. It's a little slow going up. I'm gonna grease that up because it's got a lot of power. I could feel it. That one over there is not working, so I'm gonna put a motor in that. Feel free to shoot me off a message, but I'll have them post on there if the motor doesn't fix it. But I think that's, for whatever reason, just seems on the crew cabs, that's the least used window, so it just goes, even on my truck, just kind of goes dead. All the wing windows are nice and tight. I mean, all the doors just shut beautiful. There's absolutely no door sag, no pin issues. I mean, a lot of it's probably to do with these big running boards. I mean, it's just incredible that these rockers have just no entry wear. I'm not a running board guy, but on dually these look killer, and I'm kind of sold on running boards now because they really take care of your truck. Being 24 years old now, 224,000 miles, it's amazing that there's just no entry wear. Scratches and chips on the rockers. I mean, look at all the nylon bushings. They're just beautiful. I mean, that just kind of, I love low mile trucks, but what I really love is condition on vehicles. Original condition. And, all of us truck guys know you cannot, drive a truck for 24 years, 224,000 miles, almost 225, and have it in this condition unless you take care of it. It's just unbelievable. So I'm gonna leave the dome lights on. You could turn them on and off. All the map lights and stuff, but I'm just gonna hopefully get a little extra light. But you can see there's no dark areas. If the bulbs go bad, there's a dark area. You can see the tack working good. Temperature gauge, she's starting to creep up. Got a half tank on the rear tank. Let me go over it. So if you flip to the front tank, it does that because, remember, it's got the aftermarket transfer flow tank, 40 gallon. You have to click it. It'll work. It'll just keep working, but you won't run out of gas or something. But to read it correctly, you click it to auxiliary, and it goes down. So, just with the front tank and the transfer flow tank in the bed, you have 84 gallons. What was it, or was it 88? I'll have to look. I can't remember if it was 48 gallons in the bed or 44, but I thought it was 44. So you can see it's a little over E, but you'll always have to remember on that tank, that's actually a lot of fuel because it's got 40 gallons in that bad boy. So, all right, so I'm gonna go back to the rear and then click it to main. You can see the ashtray. I mean, a lot of you guys know, see the lights working. I gotta get that guy all the way down there, and then, so here's the little remote. I'll do the cigarette lighter, show you that works if you want to hook up your iPod and all that stuff. You can see it works awesome. But you guys know the Fords, these things, it seems to be the smoker trucks. The ashtrays just fall out. So you can see this is nice and tight, shuts really good and smooth. Go ahead and click the heat on. Heater works phenomenal. Obviously these trucks, it does take a little while for the heater to work. It does have a block heater, so you can plug that in, and when you jump in it, you're gonna have instant heat. Your temp gauge is gonna be all the way up. But I'll click it over to AC, and you'll hear you can hear the sound difference. Boom, that's the AC sound. You'll hear kind of the blend doors kick in. Ice cold, just had it charged up. So I'll go ahead and, it's got a nice little Pioneer CD player. Maybe the remote needs some batteries. But it sounds really good though. You can see I don't think there's any lights in these things. Oh, there is lights in there. You can see them. So yeah, there is lights in these. All right, so you got this little tray too. Awesome for cell phones. Put your cell phones down in here. I'm gonna go ahead and you can see the e-brake is working. You can see it wants to go. Give it some gas, but the e-brake's holding back, and it rolls nice. I think door locks all cranking. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and turn the overdrive off so you can see how this works. the good news about Fords is if you're having transmission issues, this off button will flash at you. But the bad news is if you're having transmission issues, this off button will flash at you, drive you nuts, and it'll shift weird. So no issues there. And also, Fords are kind of weird. When they sense problems, they just automatically want to send more pressure to the transmission, so you'll shift just like out of control. But that's definitely not the case with this one. This one does have a little bit of shift kit. You can see the trans cooler down below with the fan. This truck was built to haul a long ways, and it would be just an absolute killer hauler, race car hauler, camper hauler, whatever you need. So I tend to have the overdrive off in heavy towing conditions, or if you're doing city driving. If you're kind of doing under 40 miles an hour, you're doing a lot of stop and go, you want to keep that. It's only preference though, but I like to keep it off so it keeps stops from going into overdrive, out of overdrive. So it just kind of keeps the exercise of transmission. But really, you could never touch this and you're fine. It's it's basically owner's preference. It's kind of like you change your oil every 3,000 or 4,000. Diesels are, some people change them 5,000 to 10,000. So it's just really how you like to own your vehicles. You could easily just never touch that button and it's okay. I'll turn the brights off too, so that you can see that light goes out. Wipers, so they'll drive high speed. They work at all speeds. And then the tilt steering column's nice and smooth. There's no bearing issues. But it's got really tight steering, aligned, coolant, power steering was flushed, oil changed, transmission serviced, AC serviced. And again, all 6 tires match, replaced at the same time, which is awesome to see. For whatever reason, most dualies, the rear tires will match, but the fronts don't, or all 6 of them are different. It's just kind of weird. So it's one key to me that, by tire quality and then do they match in condition is usually how somebody cares for their vehicle when I'm going to look at one. Also, the door jambs is one thing I look at. If a vehicle like this has got clean door jambs, people take care of their vehicle. So here we go, we're just cruising along, nice highway speed, doing 55. It's just got that killer power stroke sound. It's got a little bit of an exhaust leak you can hear there, but if I were to keep this truck, maybe it's got aftermarket exhaust, there's nothing wrong with it, no big holes in the exhaust or anything, but it'd be nice to maybe put a brand new fresh exhaust on here with all the modern day technology and all the different companies now. There's a bunch of different cool exhausts. Diamond Eye's real popular with the power strokes. Get rid of the cat, go from the downpipe all the way down. Here, you kick off the overdrive, you can see it works really good. The road's got a little bit of kind of like a tilt to it, but it drives nice and straight. The steering wheel's a little bit turned, just because of the road. But now the road's kind of straight. You can see the steering wheel's straight. But we're going to go ahead and come to a stop here. Stop's really nice and straight and smooth. There's no shaking. You can see the steering wheel is nice and straight. My hands are off. And we're just going straight, obviously, but we need to turn here a little bit. No shaking from the tires, brakes pulsating, really tight steering, nice resistance, like it's giving me good resistance. As soon as you let go, but it wants to return to center. So there's some patches in the road here. You can see potholes. This is just a terrible road. It's my favorite test drive road because it'll let you know if you got a door panel rattling. And you can just hear it. It's just nice and smooth. The F350 dualies always ride a little bit rough, empty. They ride like freaking Cadillacs when they're loaded though. You got the big mirrors. People call them Western mirrors. You can see the beautiful reflection of the Oxford white paint. But the exhaust leak, you don't notice it at idle, and it kind of dissipates as it gets warmer. It's almost up to temperature here, about halfway up. Come in here, and there's no ball joint clunking, tie rod play. Your steering box, as I mentioned, there is really tight, gives you good resistance. If a steering box is on its way out, You always have to really be driving the truck even more because you have to return the steering wheel always to center. But you can see there, it's doing a 90, and that's as much as you turn it. If it's got some worn out parts, you're going to be turning that wheel even more. So nice and tight through here. Again, this will be going to no reserve. Extremely tough truck to find. You know, this is the Cowboy Cadillac. Some people refer to it just because how long and how it does ride, and just it is like the deluxe unit. But it pretty much, besides the intake and exhaust, it's bone stock. So there's a lot of, you know, it's an OBD2, so you can get yourself a proper tuner. There's a lot of stuff to, you know, these things really come alive with a couple of minor mods. But again, these are just iron workhorses and just kind of iconic motors that'll go forever. But all right, everybody, going no reserve, the 97 F350 Crew. So good luck.